Hey everyone, I'm here again, and I just had a good idea for a video. It just kind of struck me like lightning while I was on a live. And of course, it'll probably take me probably 12 hours to upload this because they've been upgrading our network, but I just wanted to share this idea with you. Now, of course, everyone in the world has been struggling with the recent situation, which I'm sure everyone knows about already. But, you know, I want to tell you about things from, my experience, from what I've kind of learned in my professional career. Now, I spent a short time as a prison guard, and, well, actually, just a jailer, not really a prison guard at the time, but I was under visa requirements, income requirements, and let's face it, security paid better. So I spent 12 years, something like that, in security, working all over the place. I did everything from guard shacks and casinos to private security for hire. I mean, I did everything. But anyway, one thing that's taught me is that security is very overstressed. I mean, no matter what's going on, everyone, if there's something that needs to be done, it doesn't matter if it's, actually protecting lives or if it's emptying a trash can. I mean, everyone thinks that security stands around and does nothing, when in reality, you end up doing quite a bit. I mean, and then someone comes, you're already stressed out, and someone comes along and tells you, okay, here's another thing you need to do. And because of that, security actually kind of falls. I mean, because you just can't pay attention. You can't get all that stuff done just because everybody thinks you do nothing. They pile it on you. They don't realize how much you're doing. So, I got to noticing with this recent problem in the world, in the Philippines especially, they have a great untapped resource. Okay, this was my epitome. Or my epiphany, I should say. Sorry, as usual, I've had a few. They have tons of nurses, tons of good quality, out of work nurses that may have been straight A students in school. They may even have some experience, but they're out of work. So, wouldn't it make sense to help take a little stress off of the security who's always checking the temperatures when you enter places? Okay, they're making them do that. Well, they're not nurses, they're not paramedics, they're not doctors. They're just giving a guideline. Okay, over this temperature, you're not coming in. But a nurse would be able to differentiate between someone who's actually running a fever and someone who's just, normally running hot, or maybe been standing out in the sun for too long. I mean, a nurse would know that. Security, we're not taught that. I mean, I was to a certain extent, but hell, I had to go through a whole lot of extra training just to keep my license. I mean, every year I had to have 3 or 4 different training classes. And eventually that just became impossible. That's why I kind of maxed out at about 12 years, is because I got to the point where the state was just flat out not offering any new classes. So I couldn't get the continuing education, and they wouldn't accept you to take any class twice to renew your license. So I pretty much maxed out. I kind of went too fast in the beginning. I got overexcited and I took every class I could just for the hell of it, and it came back to bite me in the butt. But, you know, why would you stress your security force, your armed security, which is there to keep the public safe? And they're already doing so many things that most people don't even realize. But then you're going to distract them from that duty more by making them take temperatures? When in reality, you have this huge, huge natural resource. I mean, I've met a lot of nurses over there. They're qualified, they're certified nurses, and they can't find a job. Because there's so many nurses, the only way they can get a job is to go overseas, become an OFW. But then what happens if their family doesn't have the money to pay an agency? To apply to an agency. It's, a lot of them end up there. They spend 4 years of their life going to school, their family constantly scrimping and saving and pulling their collective efforts to get them through school, and then they get out of school and they can't find a job. There's more there than you realize, and that is a vast resource. Those people are the people who need to be employed. I mean, at the very least, start having the malls hire these nurses. The malls, hell, you could have every single little business there hire these nurses. And I think there might be enough to go around. But, you might even get some nurses that would transfer from, say, a hospital or something because the pay was better. Of course, right now in an emergency situation or a crisis, whatever you want to call it, the competitiveness might go up a little bit, so the bigger places like the malls might be willing to offer more money than, say, a local public hospital. So that could draw a few people away from those places, but then that's going to leave openings at the place where that nurse left. So they're going to have to hire more. It's something you could actually use it as a way to stimulate the economy, I think. Of course, there's probably variables I can't even imagine, but man, it seems like an opportunity to take stress off of an already overstressed industry, meaning security, and help create an opportunity for a lot of other people. Sorry about that. At the same time. So, I'm actually wondering why no one's thought of that before. The Philippines is world renowned for their nurses. They have some of the best nurses in the world. Why should they ever need to be unemployed? I've actually got several friends that are nurses over there. And, they talked about how hard they had to work, not in school, mind you. School was strict, but, everyone's smart, so it's just real competitive. All the grades are pretty close to each other, actually. Not a whole lot of difference. But when they were applying for a job, how hard they had to work to find a job, and even though they may have been the best candidate for the job, somehow or another, someone else got it. Maybe because they had a cousin or a family member of some kind or a close friend working at that place that recommended them. It's... So, I mean, some of those top students out there are still out there, and they're either working overseas or they're still there and they're unemployed. Why not recruit a few of them? Because I guarantee you they've got a whole lot more training than any of us in security ever had. I'll tell you that much right now. And they could spot stuff that we never could. So that's my thoughts for tonight. I don't want to make this too long, so tell me what you guys think. And hey, if you like the idea, spread it around. If you're over there, definitely spread the idea around. And maybe something will happen. Maybe it'll work out. So I'll see y'all later. Bye.